I'm talking to the people who are listening to me.
He said the purpose of dialogue is I'm learning from you or you're learning from me, and that is all.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. Well, you mentioned a minute ago that I think it was in 1964 that you formally went into life insurance.
Right.
Can you tell us, like just how did that happen?
I'm living in eastern North Carolina, and through a sequence of events out there, the largest forestry consulting firm in the United States was here in Birmingham, Alabama. Mm-hmm. It was known as Southern Timber Management Service. And anyway, I got talked into merging my consulting outfit in North Carolina with one here, with them. And that was a tragic mistake. I should never have done it. The embarrassing thing is I went way out of my way to get counsel from 3 people as to whether I should make the move.
Right.
All 3 says don't do it.
Ooh.
My pastor was one of the advisors.
Were they giving different reasons for why you shouldn't, or were they all saying the same problem?
Just the pastor was giving me this one. John Bradley was an interesting character, but he was the one who started this consulting firm here. Anyway, he came to Smithfield to talk to me about coming down there and so forth. And of course, we had many phone calls and lots of letters and such. And I had my pastor read all the letters that I wrote to him and that John wrote to me.
Right.
And I had him meet John when he came up to Smithfield. Mm-hmm. And pastor says, you will never get along with that guy. And I said, Pastor, I asked for your help. I thank you. But the reason I'm going is because of the large client base they have and what I can offer to their business. Mm-hmm. What you're talking about is people problems. I can handle that.
Yeah.
Now, I can't think of a more stupid thing for me to say than that. A 30-year-old. Sure.
Now, just out of curiosity, and obviously you don't need to say it if you don't want to, but did he just mean personality style, or did he mean like his value system is different from yours and then this is not going to go well?
All of the above.
Okay, gotcha.
And anyway, 3 months down here, I saw exactly what my pastor had to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
I said, you have made a terrible mistake, and we lost lots of what we'd accumulated. Some cash values of life insurance is always salvaged out of that. Mm-hmm. All right. The best advice I'd ever had financially down through the years was from a New York Life guy in Athens, Georgia, and another guy with Equitable Life in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I actually answered a blind ad in the newspaper with Equitable.
Can I stop you for a second? Do you mean it was one particular aphorism those guys gave you, or you mean like continually they were giving you good advice and you just respected? Okay, gotcha. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Right. Anyway, so I spent a year deciding what in the world was I going to do. I made that answer to the Equitable. I would have walked in their front door, but I didn't know it was them.
Right.
Yeah. But I made that decision during the summer of 64 and joined Equitable in October 1, 64.
Okay. And how old were you at that point?
Well, must have been 35.
Okay, give or take. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And so then you, at that point, was everybody selling whole life? Was that a standard thing, or was that still more of a niche thing that only some people specialized in?
Oh, no. Everybody was selling whole life at that particular time. But we had the the perversions come along later on.
Sure, right. So just to give us a snapshot, like, so at this point, was it pretty, in the mid 60s? Obviously, people nowadays who are, my age or younger, we've grown up in a world where, oh my gosh, permanent life insurance, that's a crazy place to put your money.
Yeah.
But at this point, we're still on the gold. Well, you know what I mean?
Right.
the weak version of the gold standard, and price inflation wasn't as crazy. The 70s hadn't happened yet. So was it still considered a nice, safe, conservative thing that, a responsible head of household would have life insurance in the form of a whole life policy, and you've got,
change had already started.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. There was a watershed there at the end of World War II, and you can blame a lot of it on the GI Bill.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that was the beginning of the change. And as time went by, I saw that somebody's leaving out something, that your need for finance during your lifetime is larger than your need for protection.
Right.
And so that was the beginning of IBC.
So when people, if you can remember, at that point, because this is before like no load mutual funds and things, right? If I'm getting my timeline, I can't remember.
They were beginning to come into being.
Okay.
At that time, yeah.
So like at that point, if you're like, when you were first going down this bit, like, do you remember, were there people who would think, oh no, for my retirement, I've got Social Security and I'm going to be in the stock market? Or would they have bonds for like from utilities? That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Was the mindset different from what it is today, where everybody knows you just have your 401k?
It was the fixation with the stock market that had begun big time right along in that era.
Okay. That's why I was trying to know how far back did that start. Okay. So then, this idea of your need for finance is more important than your need for death benefit coverage.
Yep.
And can you tell the story? I mean, you covered this in Becoming Your Own Banker, BYOB, but there was in the midst of like a personal crisis, right? Where you were praying about some financial trouble and then like it hits you as an epiphany.
Oh, a year later on. Well, the epiphany came as just a result of watching lots of the clients and the amount of interest that they paid in their business.
Right.
Was humongous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't recognize that. And our sales of life insurance is based on the usual thing about how much is the world going to miss you in case you die early.
Right, to get your human life value, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were totally hooked on that and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw that was backward. But back there in late 70s, I had indulged in timberland real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I stuck to timberland real estate, I made money.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got into real estate development.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And interest rates in the late 70s was 8% on 90-day loans.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not prime, you got to pay 1.5 over. And I never have met anybody that's prime.
Right.
So anyway, I made money at that level. And then along come 80 and 81, and the interest rates went to 23%. And
right.
I got caught owing a total of $800,000. And that's a lot of interest I wasn't expected to pay.
And that's back when $800,000 was a lot of money.
Yes. And so I saw that I could get the money from 3 different life insurance companies at 5, 6, and 8% interest.
Mm-hmm.
But it was limited as to how much money had I put in the premiums. And so I saw that I had to increase the premiums big time. And then I could borrow and pay off the snakes and dragons. Well, it took 13 years to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I paid off the policy loans. Now, once you get those guys out of your life, it startled me how quickly I paid off the policy loans. Because an account that's